Is this going to replace a sound recordist or an audio technician that you have on set? No. All right, people, let's get into it. I am Garrett, and it seems as though filmmaking gear is getting more affordable and smaller by the day, whether it is the cameras that we're filming with, the lights that we're using, even down to the audio equipment that we use. And there have been a couple of very interesting pieces of wireless audio tech that have come out in the last couple of years. And the most recent one is the one that we're going to be looking at today. We're going to be looking at the Comica Audio boomx-d. Before we dive into what's in the box, I have been told that there are 6 different configurations for the boomx-d. This is the D2. This has 2 transmitters and a single receiver. The D1 has 1 transmitter and a single receiver. And then the MI and UC configurations, both with single and double transmitters, are for smart devices that either use a USB Type-C port or a Lightning port for iOS devices. So this is the D2 configuration, which is a standard receiver with 2 transmitters. So let's get into it. Inside right here on the top, we have our 2 transmitters. There we go. And our receiver. Already, this is one of the best features that I know about this device, is that you can have 2 transmitters for a single receiver. Take this guy off there. Okay, in here we have the classic reset tool that's probably for factory resetting. And there are these 2 boxes in here, which are cables and more stuff. All right, so it looks as though we have our receiver. We have 2 audio cables. Can you see that? Maybe? It has a smartphone icon there. Also says for smartphone here. So standard audio jack for a smartphone, and then this is just going to be a standard audio cable if you're going into a camera. USB to USB Type-C cable, probably for charging. These are 2 lav microphones. And then these, what are these? Oh, these are like actual crazy little windsocks. So while these are the foam ones, apparently you can give your little mics cool little froze. You know what they look like? The hair on top of those little troll dolls. Okay, so now that we have all of what's in it, let's push all of that over there. The receiver, we have an LCD, maybe an LED screen here on the front. On the side, we have a battery charging port. This is our USB Type-C. I'm assuming that's what this cable here is for. On the top, there is both the line out as well as a headphone jack. That is super helpful, so you can monitor your audio levels while outputting that audio at the same time. Another unique feature to this. On the other side, we have a reset button, a power button, which also looks like a mono to stereo toggle, hence the M and S on it, as well as it then looks like volume control for A and B. Again, assuming that A and B would be for your different audio inputs. It's really, really lightweight. It's the majority of it's a plastic build, but it doesn't feel super, super cheap. It feels pretty well built, even though it is plastic. And that then takes us to the transmitters. So the transmitters are a little heavier than the receiver, but not by much. On the front, we have another screen here, LCD, LED, some form of a screen. We have a reset button, which again is what this tool would be for. There we go, this tool for. I would imagine it's just to factory reset these things. A USB Type-C for charging. On the top, there is a mic port with an odd clip thing. Oh, okay, so on the microphones, there is the microphone jack as well as this little clip, and I'm assuming that this guy would plug in and that clip would hold it in place. Yeah, okay, so that's exactly what it is. And that would then keep your talent from pulling this out. That's actually a really ingenious little thing, and then you just push it in to pull it out. Really cool. Okay, so that's the mic jack and that odd little plug there. And then there is an on transmitter microphone, which is this little screen here. On the other side, we have a pairing button as well as the power button, which also serves as a mute. Both transmitters are identical. But let's fire it up. Let's see what happens. So I'm going to push and hold on the power button here for the receiver. Wow, okay, so it is a color screen. It does look like it is an LED backlit display, and it comes with a fair amount of juice. We're 75, 80% charged here. It shows that we're on mono in right now and that we have A and B, and then of course it auto dims, so you're not burning a whole bunch just with the display. Cool. We then will turn on our first transmitter by pressing and holding. Again, same type of display. It seems as though it's the same size display. It shows us some icons across the top here, which are quite helpful here. We have the wireless signal here. We have the microphone icon, which means that it's pulling off of this microphone there, as well as the link icon. So then that's going to show it that it's linked. If I push that button again. Okay, so there you go. So you can see here that if I push that power mute button again, it will then mute that audio signal. That's actually a really helpful feature to be able to mute your audio packs, because sometimes if you have laved somebody up and you're ready to do an interview, if they have to take a phone call, or if they have to use the restroom, or if they just want to have a private moment off camera and you don't want to have kind of the ending of The Jinx happen. Spoiler alert, you should have seen it. You should still see it if you haven't. The Jinx is an unbelievable docuseries. But if you want to have private conversations, having a mute button available to the talent or the interviewee is a really nice way of making sure that they feel comfortable in that environment. So it auto paired, which is really cool. So then does that mean if I turn this one on, it too will auto pair? They auto pair. These transmitters automatically find the receiver. The first one you turn on is going to be on your A channel. The second one you turn on is going to be on your B channel. Now again, you can use these directly as microphones here. So if you wanted to clip this on to your talent and have it like this, if you were just in a pinch or needed to get clean audio, this is something that you could definitely do. But we should hear how both sound anyway, just so we know what we're looking at. Another thing that's really nice here as we're kind of getting into this is that I have audio control right here on my receiver. You can see A and B channels. I have individual audio control. And the nice thing I like about this one versus some of the other ones is that it does work with decibels. So right now it's set to +6 dB. I can then adjust that 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, bend them back to 0. So depending on the volume of the person that's talking, you can adjust the levels that are coming in to make sure that you're getting something clean and it's not clipping. And the fact that you can adjust it for both channels if you have somebody who's a loud talker and somebody who's a quiet talker. All right, so now I'm gonna put these headphones on so I can actually hear what is being recorded. Okay, so what you're hearing here, this is just the in-camera audio. What you're hearing me say is what's being picked up on the mic there. Not great. This now is the Comica boomx-d. This is the D2. This is the lav wirelessly moving to this receiver being recorded by my audio recorder. And just as a control, what you're hearing now is the standard studio audio. Now, that's not wireless, that's not lavalier, that's a whole expensive boom microphone setup that's for the studio, but with this audio, this is inexpensive, on-the-go, wireless audio in such a tiny form factor. Okay, so I'm gonna take those off. All right, so obviously there's some form of limiter that's built into these because without having to ride the levels very much, it is doing a fairly good job of keeping up with the fluctuations in my voice. I don't know what type of limiter that is or what the levels are or how it normalizes the audio, but the nice thing is for something like this, it's very much kind of a set it and forget it, right? This is not something where you have an audio engineer or a sound recordist on set. They have the headphones, they're writing all the dials, they're managing everything. This is for people who are run and gun solo shooters on the go. We're gonna go through the use case that I don't think I'd ever find myself using it for, but we're gonna do it with just this microphone here. So let me unplug this. This is just this little brick. Let's say that I'm gonna tuck this under a lapel or hide it kind of on a person. I don't see myself just using this, but if you're a super run and go and you can't lob somebody up, you know, you could clip this to them. Okay, so now this is the audio you're hearing here that's directly off of this internal microphone. No lavalier, nothing like that. And we are wirelessly transmitting that signal to this receiver, which is then going to that audio recorder. So that's what this sounds like by comparison with the lavalier microphone. The other thing you can do with these, instead of having two people necessarily as your A and B, you can set this to stereo, and this will then give you a left and right channel. So if you wanted to record something in stereo, whether it's music, like a band, an orchestra, that kind of thing, or you're getting wild sound, ambient noise in an environment, this can do both, which is a really, really helpful thing. So obviously the UI of this is super, super simple. They auto pair when you power them on. If they're not auto pairing, you can just push the hard restart button, and then they auto pair. The first one that you turn on is what will be in your A channel. The second one you turn on is in your B channel. They have internal batteries. I imagine those batteries are gonna last for several hours. These are pretty incredible, especially when you consider the price. These come in at $259 American, and $259 might sound like a lot, but when you think about the other wireless competitors that are in the market, they're 1 for 1, which means one transmitter, one receiver, which means if you want to record two people at the same time, you're buying two completely separate kits. And as far as I know, none of them come with the lavalier mics, which means that then you're also buying the microphones. And then if you have two receivers, you can't record both of those directly into a single camera, which then means that you're recording them into an audio recorder, which is then going to monumentally expand the cost of your rigging. Now, is this going to replace a sound recordist or an audio technician that you have on set? No, right? There's a reason why that gear costs what it costs, and there's a reason why there are individuals that are paid professionals to record that stuff. But if you're a single shooter that is looking to simplify their audio stream, this is a very good place to be. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, do me a favor and give it a like. I love reviewing gear like this. If you want to see more stuff like this, I do review quite a bit of filmmaking gear, so go ahead and subscribe, and as always, I'll see you in the next episode.